Are you an impulsive buyer? Do you buy more shoes than is necessary? Do you buy more clothes than you actually need? Do you buy lots and lots of handbags simply because everybody else is carrying that kind of handbag? Do you spend all your hard-earned money in the restaurant buying junk foods? And do you ever actually think whether you need all this? Do you ever realize that lots of your money is going just like that? If this is you, please stay tuned. Very many people spend a lot of money on things they actually do not need. You find somebody has hundreds of handbags. They have so many shoes. This monster called impulsive buying. You are walking around, you see something and you want it. You see a handbag, you want it. You see a shoe, you want it. You want everything. You enter into a restaurant, you literally want to buy everything on the menu. So many people buy things that they actually do not need. You walk into somebody's wardrobe and they have lots and lots of clothes. You ask them when they last wore some of those clothes. They could not actually be remembering when they last wore the cloth, or they probably never even put this cloth on, and yet they spent lots of money. Many times somebody is actually not aware that they have this particular item in their wardrobe. And the big question is this necessary? I personally struggled with impulsive buying when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I have learned, because I'm older and wiser, of course. So I struggled with impulsive buying some years back. I would be walking, I see a nice shoe and I want to buy it. And I will not just end up wanting to buy it, I'll actually go ahead and buy it. I'll see a nice handbag and I want to have it, and I'll go ahead and buy it. I wanted everything. You came to my wardrobe back then, you find that I have so many shoes, so many clothes that I was actually not using. I wasn't wearing these clothes, I was not wearing these shoes, but they were simply resting in my house. So when you take a moment of reflection to just think and maybe try to track your money, because it's very, very important to track your money. Don't just spend without knowing where the money is going. So at that point in time, I was single. I was earning money. It wasn't too much and it wasn't too little either. It was just enough to sustain me and actually enable me to do something sensible or something constructive with my life. And I know for sure that if I had managed my finances better, then definitely I would have been able to do something tangible with it, and something that I am proud of, and I can, give myself a pat on the back and say, oh yes, well done, Joy, you worked so hard for this, you have saved your money and been able to do this. But I'm telling you, there was nothing. There was nothing to show for those years of hard work. There were times that my sisters would visit, and there's this sister thing of us always stealing clothes. So my sisters come to my wardrobe and you find them picking out items that I had no clue actually existed in my wardrobe. So at some point I actually sat down, I found myself really sad. I was asking myself, I'm working so hard, I go to work on a daily basis, but there's nothing to show for it. So it's like basically I was just earning to look smart, dress well, eat well, go to nice places, travel and things like that. But there was no investment, there was nothing. And it got me thinking that I need to change my spending habits as soon as possible. I just knew I had to change. There was no way I was going to continue like that and progress in life. And I just knew that something had to change as soon as possible if I was to be a better person, if I was to progress, if I was to do all the big things, because I had all these big dreams and aspirations. But how was I going to get there if all that I am earning, I'm simply spending it, and spending it on things that are not necessary? And I know that many people do that. You're living your best life, you have all the best shoes, buying very expensive items, expensive jewelry, expensive perfume, expensive watches, so many things. I'm not saying you should not, give yourself that kind of treat, but just always ask yourself, is it necessary? And for me, to be honest, marriage helped me change those habits, because definitely you're going to get married, responsibilities are going to come in, so many responsibilities at that. There are bills to be paid, yes, and then soon after that I was a mother. I need to give the best for my child, and then you begin to think about the security of your child, because even the Bible tells us that as parents we need to live for our children and inherit children. So I started thinking about the security of my child and all the responsibilities that, you know, came with marriage. And for me, that was a big wake up call, and I just sat down and I said, I need to cut on my expenditure. I'm not going to just spend like that. It's useless to have so many clothes that I'm actually not wearing. It's useless to have so many shoes that I actually do not need, because at the end of the day you have 50 pairs of shoes, but most likely you're wearing only 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. And that's what actually happens to me. I have about 3 or maybe 4 pairs of shoes that I wear almost on a daily basis, and yet I had so many shoes in my wardrobe. So I had to cut down on my expenditures and prioritize, right? I came up with a list of priorities of the things that I need and the things that I didn't need. Very important to come up with a list of your priorities, of the things that you need and the things that you actually do not need. You know how they say, they say that there are needs and then there are wants. You know, sometimes you just want something, but you actually don't need it. So it's important for you to identify what you just want. You want it, but that means that you can actually do without it. And then also identify the things that you need. So focus on the things that you need. Simply spend money on the things that you actually need, the things that you cannot do without. Set your priorities. And I believe that when you set your priorities right, then you're definitely going to be able to spend your money wisely. You're not going to just throw money here, there, and all over the place. No. When I came up with my list of priorities, definitely shoes and clothes were not on the list of priorities. In all honesty, right now I have only one handbag. I have only one handbag because for the most time I use the backpack, yes, and then I have one handbag that I use. I think I've used it for 2 years now, and it's still in perfect condition, and it serves the purpose that I want it to serve. And I don't see the need for having 10 or 20 handbags. For now, one is okay with me. Expenditures, I do not just spend anyhow, but we are simply going to spend on the things that we need, not the things that we want. Since then, life really changed for me. I have been able to be a more disciplined buyer. I do not buy anything that I'm not going to use. Every time I'm going to buy an item, I'm going to ask myself, do I actually need it? I will ask myself, re-ask myself, and ask myself again. I'll ask myself maybe about 3 times, Joy, do you actually need it? And when the answer is no, then definitely, however cute it is, I will just pass it by, because I don't need it at the end of the day. And that way I will have saved some money. I will have kept some money that will buy milk for my baby. And I just pray for God to give me more grace, more wisdom, because this takes wisdom and it takes a lot of grace to actually be financially disciplined, because you're going to continue to see those beautiful things. Strictly buy what you must need. Other people go ahead and even live outside of their means. You earn a certain amount of money, but your expenditure is actually way higher than what you're earning. Yeah, so that is very dangerous. I want to encourage you all to learn to live within your means and avoid buying what you do not need. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a lesson or two from this episode, and until then, I remain your girl Joy, and God bless you. Bye.